So did this defendant actually play himself, or was he railroaded by the state?
I apologize.
Don't holler at me like I ain't your
yelling.
child. Could I take a break?
But I need you to answer
No,
yes or no.
but could you stop yelling at me like I'm your child? Or I'm not your child.
You are not.
You talking aggressive to me. You don't intimidate me. All them guys over here. So if you would have came to me and asked me that, I'd have told you the same thing. What if they was in my face or not in my face? I'm not scared of them, are you?
Do you understand
Now
that you
now you
said?
thinking this stuff funny.
No, sir, I don't.
You do.
Do you understand?
Because I know your question ain't funny.
It is not.
So what you laughing for?
So was it that got him violated, or this?
Just so
You maintained that the two of you both missed the fact that you signed, or your client signed, a factual acknowledgement that included item number 8.
What you talking about, Will?
And then when Ms. Love read it out orally in the court, and Mr. Sledge, one by one, said, yes, I acknowledge that somehow that didn't occur to you at that point in time either.
If you're new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat, we finna dig deep. What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Jay, back with the latest development in this ongoing YSL RICO trial. And today, it's all about Mounk Tounk. Now, Mounk Tounk, the witness turned defendant that actually had the epic fallout with 88 Love right there on the stand. Did he leave it all in the state's hand? Absolutely. This man actually just got sentenced 5 years for violating his plea. But ask yourself this, did he get violated for violating his plea, or did he get violated for exposing the fact that the words were changed in his plea? Before we dig deep, man, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Tap that notification bell so you won't miss a drop, and definitely hit that like button to help the channel continue to grow. Y'all know the vibes. Grab a seat. Boy, we gotta dig deep. So before we pop off, man, let me just give my honest opinion and say, I honestly do believe this was retaliation from a simple mistake. Let's dig. Now, after exposing the state for changing his plea paperwork, the DA struck back by accusing him of actually violating his plea, which led to what? 5 years. We literally watched him go from witness to actually being sentenced. Let that sink in. And not to mention, he was actually the state's witness. But ask yourself this, was it really the pressure from the state that made him actually cooperate? And when I say cooperate, I'm not saying that he actually cooperated, but he did actually sign that plea and make a deal with the state. And speaking of deals with the state, man, we definitely got to talk about his previous defense team. Because man, in my opinion, his attorney actually worked with the state. He didn't help him in any type of way, shape, form, or fashion. He actually helped this man get sent away. Set up and said it was an oversight, a simple mistake. Man, that's 5 years that this man is still serving to this day. But what was it that really got him locked up and sent away? Was it really his performance on the stand, or the fact that he didn't fully cooperate? It's dead.
Before signing the plea agreement that you signed on December 28, 2022.
Yes.
Do you recall being asked if you felt pressure to sign that plea agreement?
Yes, I think so.
Do you recall being asked whether you felt intimidated to sign that plea agreement?
I don't recall that.
I'll ask you, were you intimidated by the state into signing that plea agreement?
Was I intimidated?
Were you intimidated?
I wouldn't say I was intimidated. I was basically like, I just feel like it was forced on me at the time. I wasn't intimidated by it.
It was forced on you. We're going to come back to that word force, okay?
Yes.
Do you recall on direct examination when I was asking you questions, do you recall you first mentioning something about the fact that your mom, unfortunately, had become ill? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you recall telling me not to speak on her?
I said I didn't want to talk about her.
Do you recall Mr. Steele asking you about her multiple times?
Yes.
Did you have any problem with him talking about her?
No, because me and my lawyer discussed, don't even get frustrated about it.
In peril of probation revocation if you testified inconsistently with something you said was true during your plea agreement.
I don't think I testified nothing that wasn't true today, if I recall.
Do you remember testifying on last week when I asked you specifically about portions of what you agreed to, and for you to tell me if any part of it you're now testifying is false, to label it false, and if any part of it, if it's all true, to tell me it's true. Do you remember me having that conversation with you?
I remember the conversation, but you had put so much on, I don't even recall what went on.
Do you remember me putting in front of you State's Exhibit 447Y? And
Yes. Oh, okay. All right. Whether he remembers it or not is not really the relevant matter.
Oh,
all right. 1AS, did you testify that number 3 under defendant's factual acknowledgments is not entirely true?
no, I didn't say it was not entirely true. I think I remember I said the part of the support of YSL, and you put Care as a rival gang member. I told you I didn't even know he was that gang at the time. And if I made a mistake anywhere else, I made a mistake.
All right. Do you remember me putting, now I have to ask, do you remember, Your Honor? Do you remember me putting State's Exhibit 444Y in front of you?
I remember you putting all these papers in front of me, but I don't, like,
Do you remember me asking you to go over each number, and if one of it is true or one of it,
oh, go ahead.
do you remember me asking you that if all of the statement is true, to tell me and label it true, but that if any of it is not true, to call it false? Do you remember that?
I don't recall that, Ms. Love. Like I told you, you've been confusing me for so many days. You've been confusing me since I've been on this stand. So I don't know, like now, you jump from one thing to another thing. My brain don't move as fast as probably yours. I might don't learn as quick as you do. So I don't remember all this stuff. You putting all these papers in front of me ain't gonna make me remember.
Okay. All right.
You do. So I don't remember all this stuff. You putting all these papers in front of me ain't gonna make me remember.
Okay. All right.
So whatever you trying to get to, get to.
All right. We're just getting to the questions. So on cross-examination, the witness was asked whether he was allowed to craft this, whether they were his words, whether he understood them, whether he felt compelled to.
I recall.
And so what I'm asking now, and he was also asked on cross whether he felt between a rock and a hard place.
I already answered that question, though.
So what is it that you
And-
want to ask him?
I believe that he testified on cross that one part was feeling between the state and the other was Fulton County Jail or going back to jail. So I'm asking him about his sentencing acknowledgments and what he has stated or agreed to within the sentencing acknowledgments, and how that squares with his rock and hard place on December 28, 2022.
Okay, then ask him that, how those acknowledgments square with his rock and a hard place.
I don't think that's going to get a quick answer, but I'll ask. Okay, so Mr. Sledge, how do your sentencing acknowledgments square with? Do you understand that you
now you
said?
thinking this stuff funny.
No, sir, I don't. Mm-mm.
You do.
Do you understand?
Because I know your question ain't funny.
It is not.
So what you laughing for?
Mr. Sledge, do you recall?
Your Honor. Yes, he just told me to stay focused in.
Okay, all right.
Even with you, he just say stay focused in. Answer the questions.
And tell the truth?
Yes.
All right. When you say you felt forced, would you please tell the jury who it was that forced you to sign, or who you felt forced you, if anyone in particular, to sign anything on December 28, 2022?
I say the state, because when I addressed it and tried to change situations, they wouldn't change them. So,
And it's still your testimony. Is it still your testimony that there were things that you wanted changed that you did not get changed? Is that still your testimony?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
could you repeat it?
Is it still your testimony that there were things you wanted changed in this plea agreement that you did not get changed?
Judge. Your Honor, could I talk to my lawyer right fast?
You may.
I don't want to.
All right, let's just take a recess.
So as you see, after that exchange, things quickly went left between Mounk Tounk and 88 Love. Now here is where the DA actually claims he violated the deals and conditions of his actual plea deal, which ultimately led him to being sentenced. But here's where things actually get even more interesting. His previous attorney or his defense actually said it was just an oversight, a simple clerical error. So is this Mounk Tounk's fault, or is he actually getting punished for exposing the state for their actual tactics during this case? Let's dig.
So, as you read over and initialed 1AS with your client,
Yes.
did you come out did you ever speak to the state about number 8? To the best of your recollection, did you request that number 8 be removed?
No, I did not. I have no recollection of seeing number 8. I understand my client initialed it, because I can see his initial. I also understand it may have been enunciated by the state at the plea, but where we went from 455Y, where it was not in there, and then it was in there, I don't know how it got there or how we missed it, because neither my client or I appeared to have realized it was there, and it came in.
Are you saying that you did not read this document before you all signed it?
No, we read it and signed it. I can't dispute that. But how that number, when that was something from the very beginning we were contesting, I can only say we missed it, and it's in there.
All right. And when you say you were contesting it, how did you contest it? Without saying what you said, but how did you contest it?
Well, by telling the state that information, that's the subject matter of that, is not something that he has knowledge of or information on. So I'm sort of hamstrung to answer your question.
All right, I'm back. And so at the time that this document was being read into the record, were you paying attention?
I was paying attention, but I missed it. So apparently not good enough. Just as when I went over it with my client, which I did. I'm not saying I didn't, but that is something that it sort of was a surprise of this trial for me, was that was in there, and how did we miss it?
And when you speak of that was a subject matter, beyond it being something you referenced in, you said you saw it in referenced in 452 Yankee number 4, and you saw it in 456 Yankee as number 8, the final iteration. Is that fair? Did I get
Correct.
that right? Okay. Do you have notes, or do you have an email or a text message or anything that reflects, hey, 456 or number 8 on this document, not the final, but number 8, take it out?
To answer your question, going back to when this was happening, when we saw 455, it was not in there, and everything seemed consistent with what we had asked. When we were handed 456, I think we must have assumed, and I don't want to speak for Mr. Sledge, well, that 455 was what was being handed to us to execute. And we did not notice, because again, it's an addition. It's a completely different sort of addition, and it's in there. And again, I'm not disputing it is in there, but I can't explain to you how we missed what we thought we were signing, or what I thought we were signing was 455, not 456, with that additional number 8 embedded in the factual allegations. And I don't have an acceptable explanation as to how we missed it.
Okay, so looking at 455, and Your Honor, this is one of the last 3 questions I have. Looking at 455, is 455 Yankee number 8 what you're referring to when you said that you thought 455 Yankee was the last iteration?
Correct. And I'm not going to go into it, but the subject matter of number 8 in this is different than what number 8 in 456 is.
And so is 455 Yankee number 8 what you were trying to agree to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yo, stop what you're doing real quick. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit the like button. Share the video. Hit the like button. Let's dig. So let's dig a little deeper. Let's talk about this so-called simple mistake. Now, original attorney claims that what happened was a simple misunderstanding, not a deliberate violation of the plea deal. But does that really justify a 5-year sentence? Now, to be clear, there were a lot of people that were kind of back and forth and on the fence when it came to this actual defendant. Now, the reason being is some say he signed up for it, while some say, hey, he signed up for it. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of people actually believe that this was a harsh response, more about the state sending a message to the other witness. In my personal opinion, I actually feel like it was retaliation, plain and simple. But what's your thought? Was this actual retaliation for the state getting exposed by their own witness? Or is this witness just getting what he deserved, being that he made that bed that he's got to lay when he made that deal with the state? But before we jump straight into this actual breaking update with this case, man, we got to go back and take a look at his sentencing day. Let's dig.
Okay, well, I don't view it as a technical violation or akin to a technical violation, considering the solemn oath that he took when he said that he understood every term within the plea agreement, factual acknowledgments, and sentencing acknowledgments, and understood and, in fact, orally answered that he understood when both asked by the prosecutor and the court at his plea hearing that a failure to abide by any of the terms would constitute a violation of the agreement, and he was notified that the entirety of his probation could be revoked. I do appreciate the fact that this particular violation is a non-violent violation, but I also appreciate the fact that some of the why this could have occurred include the fact that there is just not a proper regard for the judicial system and the seriousness with which an oath in court needs to be taken. I actually view this much more akin to perjury, frankly, than a technical violation, and the sentence for perjury is up to 10 years. I am going to revoke 5 years of Mr. Sledge's probation. And Mr. Sledge, I am sympathetic to the fact that you have generally stayed out of trouble, and I want to commend you for that. And I really hope that this revocation doesn't set you back. But we've got to take seriously the court system. So that's the sentence of the court. I find there to have been that violation. I'm revoking 5 years.
And will be continued on probation, Your Honor?
And reinstate.
Thank you.
Might I ask, is it possible for my client to turn himself in to make arrangements?
I think y'all knew when you came in here that this was a strong possibility. So, no, I'm sorry. All right, court is adjourned.
Good seeing you, Judge Whitaker.
Yes, thank you. Good to see you.
All right, bye.
The only person we could hear was Miss Jolly, so the only person we could hear was Miss Jolly.
Oh, wow.
Not on Zoom.
I don't know. The sound
Jolly
of this
had
courtroom
that.
is...
Go to the next room.
Now, for the news that everybody's been waiting on and waiting for, here it is. As you know, Mounk Tounk is actually serving his time, but he's actually hired a new defense team to actually hopefully get him a hearing, an appeal, or a turnover with this conviction and sentence. I mean, hell, at this point, if you was him or in his position, would you even take a reduction to that sentence? Let that sink in. This should be clear. This new defense team's mission should be to challenge the sentence and potentially get a new trial date or hearing to see if they can get this actual sentence reduced or overturned. But let's be clear, they definitely got that work cut out for them. Mounk Tounk did sign a plea deal that has his actual signature on it. So can this new legal team actually argue for leniency or possible fairness, even though there's a given existing agreement? But here's the reality. Challenging any plea deal is definitely going to be tough. And here's why I say that. In the federal justice system, plea deals or plea bargains resolve 90 to 95% of state and federal cases. Generally, when those plea deals are actually resolved, it's really hard for those to actually be overturned, reduced, or reversed. But there are certain circumstances, such as ineffective counsel, procedural error, or prosecutorial misconduct. Now, with this actual situation, it's going to be definitely interesting because we can all say it was ineffective counsel. But was it? I mean, let's be real. We got to call a spade, knowing that he openly, willingly, freely made that deal and signed that plea. In my personal opinion, when you signed up for the streets, you signed up for the streets. When you signed your name on that plea, you signed your name on that plea. But was he done fairly? Now, his counsel, yes, he was railroaded. The state dropped pressure on him. His mom is sick. But ask yourself this. When you sign up for it, don't you sign up for it? Regardless of an alleged oversight, did he actually violate the terms of the actual plea deal? Because that's what it's going to boil down to, the violations. Now, think back what we just played. The judge actually said they not only focused on one oversight, but it was a violation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like she just went down the list. So, can this defense actually get him out or get this overturned? My personal opinion, it's gonna be a tough situation, and I don't want to be the one to speak negative, but I will say this is gonna be more interesting. I will honestly say that this actual situation with Mounk Tounk should show you right here, making a deal with the state, sealed his own fate. Let that sink in, yo. So let's look at it from a different perspective. When it comes to the judicial system and plea deals, let's break it down. 90 to 95% of entertainers, people you know, strangers, people you've seen in court, watching court trial, rappers. We've seen a whole bunch of rappers over the past, in 2024, do what? Take plea deals. Settling in state cases, settling in federal cases, taking what? Plea deals. New information coming out every day about somebody doing what? Taking a plea deal. The sick part is with this judicial system, a plea deal, the probation, it's all a trap. The sad part is, once they get you, especially when you sign that deal. Get stuck on that probation. The probation is longer than the actual sentence now. We're all watching this. We've seen it with the YSLTrial. All of those plea deals, plus 10 years on probation. Sick, Thug, released, out on what? Probation. Doing what? Trying to get his overturned, reduced, reversed, something. Was Mounk Tounk railroaded? Absolutely. In my personal opinion, I believe he was. Could they have done him worse? Absolutely. But again, he signed up for this. He signed that plea. Grown man, straight from the street, knew what he was doing. Still signed the plea. So it's hard to say, hey, free Mounk Tounk, when Mounk Tounk already knew the position that he took when he signed that plea. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know y'all's thoughts. Did we actually witness one of the state's witnesses get mishandled by the state, or was this just pure retaliation? And how much of a role did his actual outburst in the courtroom play with his sentence? Will his new defense team be able to get him a new court date, or was he really played by his previous defense in the state? Man, y'all jump in the comments, let me know y'all's thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Tap that notification bell so you won't miss a drop, and definitely hit that like. Hit the like button, man. Help the channel continue to grow. If you didn't hit the like when you came in, hit the like on your way out. And y'all remember, stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay dangerous. The greater the height, the greater the weight. The life you save might be your very own. And as always, I'm your host, Jay. Gone.